The National Library of Medicine classification system is specifically designed to organize the content related to medicine and other related sciences like pharmaceuticals. The idea of NLM classification was presented by the U.S. military in the late 1940s, and by 1951, it was established mostly to improve the endeavors of the U.S. Army. The NLM classification needed to be made to be expansive enough to encompass all the variety that is the human body and medical science. Between the 1950s and 1999, the NLM updates were restricted. Like encyclopedias, updating by print only limited how many revisions took place. In 2002, it was published online and since then has been updated annually to keep up with the fast-paced nature of the medical industry. It is available free to all, which has greatly improved its accessibility and accuracy. In 2006, a PDF version was released which further improved accessibility. It being available by download makes it accessible even offline. NLM classification is mostly used by medical libraries and large health organizations like WHO and PubMed. Health professionals aspiring and current would likely use the NLM classification to conduct research. So, what does the NLM classification do? Like I stated previously, it is used to hierarchically organize all medical disciplines and related fields. It is also used to organize historic and fictional medical information under a special category away from the factual information, of course. The next question is, how do you organize a whole body? You need a highly expansive classification system that allows for great specificity. But first, you need to know what to call stuff. So an established control vocabulary is necessary in order to consistently label and organize materials. And thus, MESH is born. MESH, or Medical Subject Headings, is the Control Vocabulary Index for the NLM classification, which means it is used to assign controlled terms to materials. It's a searchable thesaurus that is also updated annually by the NLM and is organized hierarchically. These subject headings are also useful to enhance search results on medical databases. There are 16 main subject headings that can branch off as many times as needed in order to accommodate the specificity of medicine. Here is a basic illustration of the hierarchical relationship that it creates. You'll see it goes general, the trunk, to specific, the leaf. Disciplines and occupations is the main subject heading, which branches off to health occupations, which branches off again to acupuncture, a very specific health occupation. NLM classification mirrors the hierarchical structure of the control vocabulary it uses. Organs and major regions of the body and bodily systems, like endocrine or musculoskeletal, start off in broader terms, then are subdivided into narrower terms. In the case of some areas, like our head and neck, facets of a region may have their own schedule to allow for expansion. For example, teeth may be found in our head region, but the subject of teeth would be found in the dental schedule. Diseases are grouped by the organ or region it mostly affects, and drugs are grouped by what they treat. The main groups in NLM classification are called schedules. They are represented by one or two letters, specifically QS through QZ and W to WZ. These schedules are modeled after the Library of Congress classification system, but they are not that system. That way, the NLM can be as expansive as it needs to be and also be supplemented by the LCCS for subjects that border between medicine and another subject. In the last slide, I illustrated where I felt this classification system had social disparities. Gender identity is grouped under mental disorders, contraceptive is under gynecology, and male genitalia is under a non-specialty body system called urogenital. This placement of these items, it sends a message intentionally or unintentionally about the content that it's describing. The NLM classification intentionally excludes QM, QR, and S Library of Congress subject headings and uses substitutes for these classes to allow for extension of detail. These aren't allowed in NLM because if they were, it would cause much confusion. One schedule is designated to house historical information as well as miscellaneous materials like fictional biographies on real doctors. Another component of the NLM classification are form numbers. These are cutter numbers that subdivide the main schedules. Form numbers 1 through 49 represent content type and will tell us what kind of material it is, like if it's an atlas or a biography. 3-digit form numbers are the ones used to subdivide main schedules. So here you will see the schedules highlighted in red. In this example, it is WR for dermatology. Highlighted in blue are the form numbers. Form number 100 represents general works, while form number 190 represents eczema under this particular schedule. Here are some examples of 2 different types of form numbers. You'll see that the 3-digit form numbers represent subjects specific to the schedule it's under. The 2-digit form numbers would be used to represent the same publication type no matter what schedule it's under. Table G is the second cutter number system that NLM employs, and G is for geography. Table G notations tell us where the material is derived from. Table G notations are represented by letters A, AA1 to P. Not all materials will have Table G. Only if the location is emphasized in the material will it be added to an NLM class number. So here are all the components of the NLM classification system come together. MESH is the index of control vocabularies that NLM uses. You choose your terminology from MESH, then find the schedule it most matches. Schedules in the NLM classification are usually paired with form numbers, a type of cutter system that allows for specificity. And sometimes they will contain Table G, which just tells us where geographically this information derived from. Here is an example of an NLM class number with Table G. In the blue is the schedule QT Physiology. 11 is the form number here, representing our general works. A and H make up the Table G notation in this example. A is for United States and H is for Hawaii. The versatility of the NLM classification makes it very useful to the materials it organizes. The final question is, what does the future hold for NLM classification? NLM is currently working to archive the phenomenon that is COVID-19. The classification system will continue to be updated annually through its digital platform, usually concentrating on 1 or 2 schedules at a time. The NLM's goal is to continue to strengthen its role in aiding advances in medical sciences and preserve the history of medicine, not just in the U.S., but beyond.